I think would be more interesting for you is me explain like why crashing the stock market is good for the US.
Yeah, go ahead and try to explain to me how causing a recession intentionally is good.
Like I think it went too far. Like too far.
What did?
Um the tariffs that Trump implemented. Like yes, Trump did add more debt, but the debt was better. Trump like I know you're going to like freak out when I say this, but like intentionally crashing the stock market was a good thing. Let me explain. So what he's doing is crashing the stock market with the tariffs. I mean, I do agree with the tariffs. I don't agree with how aggressive he is with them. Tariffs are like tariffs are like I don't know, like a really hard substance. If you take too much of it, it's gonna f you up. But if you take a little bit, it's good for an economy. And
Yeah,
um
that'd be targeted tariffs, not specifically like Donald Trump doing blanket tariffs on practically every country around the world.
yeah, and
Right?
I honestly well, I mean, I do agree. I mean, the blanket, in my opinion, a lot of the blanket tariffs did work because now they're all like trying to negotiate. I think a lot of, except like China and the EU, are
Yeah,
most
but like, what
likely.
did we get from these negotiations? So we crashed, intentionally crashed the markets to get negotiations, and we don't even know what we've got from the negotiations. So how could you say you support
Oh,
that?
okay, so there's two different like topics I could go on: the tariffs or like the benefits of intentionally crashing the stock market.
Yeah, tell me what the benefits are of intentionally crashing the stock market.
So it would lower interest rates. It would cause the Fed to lower interest rates, which would, I mean, this is a
No way! You just said it was okay to intentionally crash the stock market because it is the case that it would lower interest rates because it would cause a recession.
no, okay, so I disagree. Like I said, I disagree with how like aggressive the tariffs were, but it is good. I mean, there's going to be pros and cons to both of this, but like the bad is, yeah, we're basically like having to like reshore all of our manufacturing for any of the companies to even see it worth like get, doing business with our consumers, because like 104% on China is crazy. Yeah, so I think it's at 125%. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like I'm specifically China is the one like that deserves the tariffs like absolutely the most, like 100%. Like China is the one that needs the tariffs the absolute most.
No, because obviously they haven't been receptive in a positive way for it. Now the TikTok case is totally off the deal, or totally off, right? The TikTok
Wait,
deal is totally off.
what TikTok deal?
The deal to get a TikTok so it's not banned, so it's sold
Oh, to sell the
completely off the
company
table.
to a US or whatever.
Yeah, it's completely off the table now.
I mean, that's a kind of a whole separate topic. I don't. I mean, I let me explain like why I think the tariffs are so good. I do know that the Chinese government is really like targeting the US for like national security data. They've done this like a long time, and it is a problem. And I don't want TikTok banned. And it's unfortunate like that they took that off the table. But you have to understand that China's freaking out. They're playing hard. They cannot keep up. They're not going to be able to last. It's going to be. I mean, it's obviously going to be rough for us, but it's way rougher for them because they have an aging population. Their currency is in the dumps. Like the good thing about the US is we have so much, because we're the reserve currency and all of the other currencies are pegged to the US dollar, is that when we start doing tariffs, sanctions, we make the rules. But China, think that's why they tried to form like the BRICS. If China was strong enough on their own, they wouldn't have like tried to do the BRICS. They have to combine all their companies to even compete with our dollar. That's how powerful we are.
I'm not disputing that, but like what you're not understanding is that tariffs do not help us. They do not help them. They do not allow for a stimulation of innovation, of growth, right? Of productive capacities that help our economy.
Actually,
They really don't.
I would argue it gives more innovation, and let me explain
Really?
why. It goes back. Yeah. Hold on.
That's actually categorically false based upon everything that we've seen within economics. Like
Okay.
I can literally show you studies that indicate otherwise because it reduces the efficiency of an economy and it limits the amount of competition that like American monopoly organizations have and oligopolic industries have.
Yeah, I do agree with you that like I mean, but wouldn't you also agree that China is monopoly too?
I don't say what you mean, like the
Like a
state,
lot of
like
the
the state
companies
that they have.
the companies. Oh, go ahead.
The state that they have has lots of control over markets. Absolutely, I'm not disputing that. What?
No, I'm saying that they're companies that like a lot of like steel or like um I don't know, a lot of the things we get from China like um
They should still be able to compete, right?
compete,
Yeah, in the
not
market.
not as unfair as it is at the moment because
What's unfair about it?
the Chinese have been known for severe like the data breaching, and that's why the whole thing with the TikTok, even it was like Democrats and Republicans were big
What
on
data
this
breaching?
of China like trying to infiltrate our like social media. You don't do you not think I'm not against TikTok being banned, but I am against Chinese spyware. And you think that like ByteDance is has great intentions, like they're just the the Chinese government has.
Until you can identify specifically what they've done, they should not be banned, right? There's literally no evidence to indicate that. You're talking about some potential of they could do this in the future. There's no evidence that they've done this. Why are we talking
So
about banning them for things that they haven't done when their data is maintained and controlled in the United States by Oracle? Explain to me. Give me any fucking reason.
okay, well, I didn't know about it being controlled by Oracle. And
Already been controlled. Yep.
Oracle is a US company, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
But what about ByteDance? I heard like when they were having the congressional hearings on this, ByteDance. I don't know. So there's TikTok, ByteDance, Oracle. What are all the functions that for TikTok?
Like, are you asking like what is TikTok as an app? Like
No, like
live
what
streams?
do you know about ByteDance? Like have you heard the
Yeah,
company
it's
how
the
it's
company.
associated?
Yes.
What's it associated with TikTok?
Like, how is its association?
Yeah,
Like, as the owner of TikTok? I'm
it
confused.
owns TikTok.
Yes, I'm pretty sure ByteDance owns TikTok.
Yeah, because I think TikTok is not a company; it's a brand owned by ByteDance. So yeah, so I think that's what it is. But ByteDance, who's ByteDance owned by?
There are like when you
The
say owned,
Chinese
like
government.
they have a they're like oh yeah, parent company. There's influence of the Chinese company. Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
major
and
influences.
and
And
what is China? China.
that's why there's like a deal that's trying to be made with the Chinese government. It's
Yeah,
because they have
we don't
regulatory
want to
power
deal
over
with
it.
the Chinese government on our like biggest social media platform with our data
Okay.
because ByteDance has all the data because Oracle controls it, but they have all the data, and ByteDance is owned by the Chinese government. We don't
No,
want them having.
the data is controlled by Oracle.
Yeah, but Oracle works for ByteDance, and ByteDance
No, they
is
don't.
owned.
Oracle does not work for ByteDance.
I mean, well, they use them, but ByteDance has
I
all of
don't know what
the
you're talking
data.
about.
You're right. Oracle is like they contract Oracle for their data. Like I don't I don't know, data management, I guess. Um, but ByteDance still has all the access to Oracle. So I mean, we can talk about this ByteDance company or whatever, but do you want me to I think would be more interesting for you is me explain like why crashing the stock market is good for the US.
Yeah, go ahead and try to explain to me how causing a recession intentionally is good.
Okay. So the aggressiveness of I've already stated the aggressiveness of the tariffs was bad. I don't think it should have been as aggressive. I was assuming that was going to be like the the tariffs in Trump's first term. Like they're obviously not as aggressive. Like I honestly didn't see that coming. Um, so so I do disagree with that, but I did know that when he implemented those tariffs that the market would crash, and that would be good because it would lower the interest rates, which for me as a I'm a me and my family are big real estate investors, so we'd be able to acquire more debt at cheaper rates
Yeah.
and
So again,
of
what you're just,
things of
you
the
know,
such.
and the houses would also be less expensive, right? They'd be less valuable to sell. Less people will be able to buy houses that your family is trying to sell
No, more people would because
because it's a recession.
the
No,
interest
less
rates are
people.
so high.
Listen, you're not understanding. There would be obviously more of a decrease in demand overall. That's why there would be a decrease in the interest rate in the very first place.
Yeah, I mean I'm not disagreeing with you that there's going to be a recession and that's a bad thing. What
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
saying
Wait.
is
You just advocated that it was a good thing. What are you talking about?
no, I'm saying it was okay. So when I voted, I thought Trump was not going to be as aggressive as he was with the tariffs. Like in his first term, they weren't as aggressive as they are now. So that's what I thought. So I'm like, okay, he's going to implement these like, tariffs that are a little bit more aggressive than like previous administrations, but not like now. Like I think it went too far. Like like too far.
What did?
Um the tariffs that Trump implemented. Like they're too
Okay.
much.
Okay. Way too much. They caused a recession. They're bad, right? Again, if you're advocating for targeted tariffs, Democrats agree with targeted tariffs. What Democrats disagree with are blanket tariffs placed on basically every country around the world to negatively disenfranchise, right? Every country around the world, our relationships with our allies, right? Trade policy across the board, and companies that rely on aspects of the production process that come from countries around the world.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that I didn't know when so you asked like why I voted for Trump is because I knew he was going to bring the tariffs. The tariffs would be implemented. I didn't think they would be as aggressive, and I knew that the market would crash, and that interest rates would go down, and that I would be able to acquire debt at cheaper prices. And like I said, with the bonus depreciation also relates to like my real estate investing and of the such. So
Again, you're just going to restate the claim that a recession is good, which is going to harm so many people, right? Because it's going to benefit you as a
no,
business owner family,
I'm
as a real
saying that
estate owning family. That's incredibly
okay,
greedy.
the interest rates would have gone down even if it wasn't as aggressive.
Interest rates would have gone down more if it is the case that you supported Kamala Harris, because then there wouldn't have been an upward pressure on prices because of the tariffs.
No, the interest rates would have most likely gone up.
You're just wrong.
No, it's true. It's when you pump when debt is more like okay, so most of the debt in the economy comes from the US government buying or selling bonds to the Fed, right? And when the interest rate on those bonds are higher, it or when the US government is buying more of that, it boosts the interest rate like skyrockets. And that's what we saw with Biden. And
Why are they buying more bonds that are Biden?
because he spent more money.
Wrong.
Yes.
Donald Trump signed off on more debt related spending, 8.4 trillion overall, 4.8 trillion non-COVID related, comparative to the Biden-Harris administration, 4.3 trillion overall, 2.2 trillion non-COVID related. Also, the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget also indicates that Donald Trump will sign off on more debt related spending given the next administration, comparative to Kamala Harris, right? By 4 trillion over the next 10 years. So again, 8 trillion overall more from Donald Trump being in the position of presidency comparative to there being Democrats.
Okay. I agree with you. I was wrong that yes, Trump did add more debt, but the debt was better.
The debt was better.